many closing situations are relatively easy. Repeat customers who have bought from you before know you, have experience in dealing with you, are comfortable in talking with you about making a major purchase, buying an automobile. But when you meet people for the first time, it's different and sometimes difficult. As a GM salesperson, have you ever wondered, who will be my next up? What will they be like? Will it be a young couple? Will they have children that I'll have to work around? Will that next up be a pipe smoker who thinks and contemplates? A price shopper? A third-party situation involving a buyer and a friend they brought along? So on the other side of the coin, people walking into your dealership have attitudes about buying. They may have opinions about automobile salespeople. They may be thinking, will they try to sell me an automobile I don't want or can't afford? Will they pressure me? Will they give me a good allowance on my present car? Should I trade? Should I really buy now? However, these potential buyers take the same attitudes and opinions into any dealership they visit. They're the same wherever they go. Sooner or later, they're going to buy. And it might as well be from you. The inevitable is that you will encounter a lot of potential buyers during the course of a week. You'll have your share of ups. Greet and qualify a lot of people. Some will be suspects before they're prospects. You'll make product presentations, go on demonstration rides, but eventually it all winds up here in the closing office. Here is where you use all your experience and know-how to get their signature on that bottom line. This is where you bring prospective buyers' needs and wants in an automobile together with the products you have to sell. It's here that you're the matchmaker. In the closing office, you're not only in competition with the dealership down the street, but with every kind of purchase a buyer plans to make in the immediate future. You are competing for that person's budget with every other salesperson, whether it be for a house, furniture, insurance, appliances, whatever. Your success depends on how good a matchmaker you are and can be. How well you can recognize and deal with different kinds of people and situations. Obviously, different kinds of people and situations overlap, but we've broken out a few that we want to show you, and we want to get your reactions as to how you would handle them. At the same time, we'll share with you how other GM salespeople handle them, and give you an example with suggestions that you may want to incorporate into your own closing style. First, let's take a look at the potential buyers who really haven't faced up to the impact of inflation on big-ticket items. They're shocked at the price of new cars, although they themselves are probably making considerably more money than they were 10 years, even 5 years ago. They really don't know what their present car is worth. They're confused about fuel economy. They have trouble understanding why their monthly payments are going higher than they used to be. We might call someone like this the ostrich. Sure, he or she knows prices have gone up, but he's probably done his level best to avoid facing the facts as long as possible. And when the truth sets in, he's likely to be defensive, even hostile.
Look, there's just no sense in talking about the car anymore.
I don't understand.
Well, it's just the car we want, and it's just what we can't afford.
Well, according to the information you've given me, now you're in pretty good...
Look, we're going to have to reconsider the whole thing. Now, we can still make a lot of use out of the car that we're driving, and it's almost paid for.
That's right, and we want to...
Maybe so, but, you know,
Look, if we get this new car, we're going to have to start paying all over again, and paying a lot more every month. The more I think about it, the madder I get.
Mr. Ripley, Mrs. Ripley, I understand.
The car we're talking about is identical to the one that I brought in. It's just newer.
Maybe not identical.
Look, I expected to have to pay a little more, but Thousands of dollars? No, we didn't expect that. It's just not worth it.
How would you handle the ostrich? We'd like to share with you some views from other GM salespeople.
It's just getting them aware of what the market situation is at this particular time, and they'll accept it.
Well, I would explain to them that, like everything else, that prices have changed and times have changed, and the cars today are much more automobile than a few years ago, and you get so much more for your money today, and maybe look at a few of the features of the automobile that you couldn't get before.
Well, my first thing there is to agree with them 100%, and maybe bring up an instance. In my particular case, I just bought a home after I owned one for 14 years, and I got a price shock out of that one, too, payment-wise and interest-wise.
I know what you mean. You know, my wife and I had the shock of our lives when we went looking for a new home. Things sure have gone up. You know, it's only natural that cars have gone up, too.
What's so natural about that?
Well, look at it this way. Aren't your utilities up?
Yes, they are.
So are mine. Same goes for food, clothing, real estate, entertainment, you name it. But you know what? By comparison, automobiles haven't gone up as much as a lot of other products and services.
Yeah, but...
And your new car has a lot more built-in value than the present one.
What do you mean by built-in value?
Engineering improvements, for instance. Now, this new car has longer service intervals and lower maintenance costs than the one you're driving now. Our products have been redesigned from the ground up for the past few years. They're better all the way around.
How are they better?
Well, look. The new car is every bit as roomy on the inside as the one you're driving now. Yet it's smaller on the outside, and it's lighter.
What do I care about all this redesigning stuff?
Gas mileage savings. You'll go farther on a tank full than you go now. Imagine the savings in a one-year period.
Is the mileage really that much better?
It's a lot better. And think of the service protection you'll get through the warranty on your new car. Now, that translates into real savings, too.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Another thing you should possibly consider now. Prices are going to keep going up, aren't they? Now, the increases will probably be in proportion to our income.
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
The value of your car is steadily going down.
That's for sure.
Mr. Ripley, you liked the car we looked at, didn't you? Both of you do, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Now, chances are that new car will hold up in value the next trade-in.
What you're saying is that we're better off in the long run if we buy now.
Yes, I am. We have the car you want, and now is perhaps the best possible opportunity to get the deal you want on your used car and the new car you selected. More than that, you've come to a dealership with a reputation, one that's been here for a long time and intends to help you get not just this car, but also the next one. Now, I personally enjoy working here because the service department does a good job and keeps our customers coming back. Let's work on it. Let me show you how affordable your new car really can be. We appraise your present car at...
Price shock. We've just seen a classic case. The buyer, angry, almost obstinate. Our salesman, he maintained control when it looked like a walkout, and he turned the deal in his direction. Briefly, here are the steps you may wish to consider in your closing approach with an ostrich. First, listen. Hear the prospect out. Listen to the whole story. Second, empathize. Get on his side of the fence. Next, compare the price to other items. Once you're in agreement on the basics of price shock and inflation, bring him around to see that automobiles haven't gone up as much as other commodities. Point out increased product quality. Review the product features and benefits on the automobile that are not on his present vehicle. Point out resale value. New cars with added features in safety design and fuel economy are likely to be worth more in trade-in in the future than his present vehicle. You know, maybe the ostrich doesn't really have his head in the sand. Maybe it just takes a little longer to understand and accept today's prices in comparison with today's product values. Another type of prospect you probably run into more often than you'd like is the one who comes into your dealership zeroed in on a specific model, color, equipment, and a price. They've accumulated information on cars from magazines, ads, and friends. Their mind is made up and their desires are set in cement. Most difficult is that they expect you to roll out exactly what they want and at their price. They have tunnel vision. We call this type of buyer the narrow viewer. Even after presenting and demonstrating cars close to their choice, it's in the closing office that the real problems surface.
Well, Miss Nolan, you've given me a good idea of what you were looking for right from the start. And I think it's helped us find some cars in line with what you have in mind.
Well, they're close.
Good. Now, did you want the brown metallic two-door?
No, wait a minute. You're not listening. I said they're close, but not one of them is exactly what I'm looking for. And I don't like your prices.
I'm sorry, Miss Nolan. I thought...
When I came in here today, I told you exactly what I was looking for. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to be spending that kind of money, I should be getting exactly what I want.
Miss Nolan, you did spell it out for me. And you're absolutely right. You should.
How would you handle the narrow viewer? Now that you've had a chance to talk it over, let's see how other GM salespeople handle this situation.
Probably 90% of the time, we never end up buying what we started off to buy. And you have to show them another product. They have to be enthused about something else.
If you show people their needs, what they've done with their last car and what they're really going to be getting out of and looking for in their next car, a lot of times you can turn them around.
If you're honest and sincere with the customer and explain to him that that car just isn't available, and usually they can become a little more understanding, a little more flexible.
Well, that's the kind of car I want. Do you have it or not?
Ms. Nolan, you've made a good choice. And I'd really like to roll out a model just like you described.
Well?
As you know, General Motors designs a lot of different models to fit the needs of our customers. Now, the specific model you like was not designed with split seats, and it doesn't have the engine you want.
In that case, I really think
But I still think I can help.
I don't think there's anything else I would like. Maybe I should just look around some more.
Ms. Nolan, how about giving me a chance to help you look around? Right here. Now, you've given me your price range, and we're really not that far apart. And you've agreed I showed you some cars that are pretty close to what you wanted.
Yeah.
Now, I can understand the split seats, but why that specific engine?
Well, I need some economy for my everyday driving. And I take ski trips, and I do some camping. And I need something that will handle the mountains.
This is a model we looked at earlier, one you liked. Now, in this car, I can give you the split seats and an engine-transmission combination that'll give you the gas mileage you want, with the pulling power for your ski trips.
Sounds good. What about the price?
Let's work it up. Okay. Split seats, engine, transmission, your trade-in. Ms. Nolan, this car will run you a few dollars more per month than you wanted. But it's still a lot less than the one you were looking for at first.
I don't know.
Now, look at it this way. With this car, you'll save a few dollars more per month on gas versus your present car. And this new car will be worth more at trade-in in the future.
I guess you're right. This is the model I'm looking for.
Well, no close is easy, but we must do all we can to put every prospect into a unit that meets their needs and desires and influence them to buy today. You are the matchmaker, and with a narrow viewer, being a good matchmaker is extremely important. Some of the things you can do to make that match are complement their choice, their thinking process, Point out the difficulty of getting a specific model, especially if it's never been built, and at a price they've set. Identify real needs and an affordable price. Find out what they're really looking for. Present a model that fits their needs and a stock unit if possible. In summary, narrow viewers need to shift their attention from what they've been told and seen to what they need and can afford. And this calls for some good, hard selling in the closing office. Here's another situation, probably the most troublesome and one that all automotive salespeople run into, and will probably always run into. The bargain hunter. This prospect is a hardcore price shopper. He wants the best deal he can find, and he's willing to shop around as much as necessary to find it. He will, or already has, visited several dealerships and probably has as many different prices to compare. Now, while it's a wise consumer who comparison shops these days, the trouble is, in many cases, that the bargain hunter may be comparing apples and oranges. He may be comparing similar, but not the same vehicles. These inaccuracies, usually regarding vehicle equipment and options, may lead the prospect into thinking he can get a better deal down the street, when actually you may be offering him the best value for his money. Let's look now at just such a situation. The salesperson has been able to slow down a bargain hunter and has qualified him as a buyer. He has made a thorough presentation and has returned from a demonstration ride. Now the salesperson is in the closing office with the bargain hunter, who is looking for that magic number.
Well, now, Mr. Royal, here are the figures I've worked up. Now, this is the allowance we can offer on your trade-in. And here's the total price of the vehicle, including all the options and equipment we talked about. And this, then, is your monthly payment. So if you'll just okay this for me, we'll start the ball rolling.
Whoa, hold on a minute. I'm not signing anything. This price is way out of line with some of the other places I've been.
How so?
Well, for one thing, I've had a better offer for my trade-in. A few $100s better. And the other place is giving me a lower price on the option package, and well, this total is the highest I've heard so far. I can get a much better deal across town. You can't blame me for wanting to get the most for my money, can you?
How would you handle the bargain hunter? Here's what some other GM salespeople had to say about the bargain hunter.
Probably the easiest is to find out just exactly what he has and make sure he's comparing exactly the same automobiles. A lot of times they'll think they have something on a car that they don't have, and you wind up with two completely different automobiles.
Comparable car, comparable equipment, we can be competitive with anything that you look at. But I want you to know that you're not only buying this car, you're buying me.
Try to get his figures, because somewhere along the line, he's either missed some equipment on that car that you got extra, or something's wrong somewhere where you can't get together. Until you know what's happened at the other dealer, you're not going anywhere.
No, I certainly can't blame you for wanting to get the most car for your money, especially these days. I feel the same way. And I can understand why you think the lower price is a better price. But you know, Mr. Royal, it's a good idea to find out exactly what the price includes. I mean, after all, if you wind up with a car that isn't quite what you wanted or expected, and no matter how low the price is, the deal still isn't satisfactory. Now, don't you agree?
Well, yes, I see your point.
And if something has more value to you, I mean, if you think it's worth it, you expect to pay a little more for it, don't you?
I suppose so. You can't expect to get something for nothing these days.
Well, then, Mr. Royal, let's just see what you're getting with our deal and compare it to what the other dealership is offering. Would you happen to have that deal on paper?
Yeah, I've got it written down here someplace. Here it is. Thank you.
I'd like to point out, Mr. Royal, that our deal is a bona fide offer, signed by our management. Now, we'll honor this deal right now. The other salesperson you talk to isn't obligated to do so. Just as I suspected, Mr. Royal. We're not talking about the same vehicle. Look here. You've selected a car that includes two-tone paint, a rear window defroster, and cruise control. These items aren't included in this offer.
Yeah, I see. These options account for all the difference in price, then?
Yes, they do.
Well, I really want all the options you've got listed there.
Well, good choice. These options really add class to the model you've selected, don't you think?
I agree, but I'm not sure I want to go that high.
Well, let's see what we have here, Mr. Royal. This is the total price of the car with all the options you want. And here's what your trade is worth. So actually, this is the trade difference. Now, that seems reasonable, doesn't it?
I guess that's not so bad after all.
And your monthly payments, then, would be this amount. Not much more than you're paying now.
Well, maybe I should check with that other dealership to see if they can beat your price before I sign anything.
Well, you're certainly free to do so, Mr. Royal. But before you go, I'd like you to consider a few things. One of the reasons I chose to work at this dealership is the service department. We don't just sell you a car and forget about you. Our service department is one of the best in town. We have certified technicians and genuine GM parts, and a manager who runs a tight ship. Now, when you come back here for service, we remember you and take care of you. And I feel that's part of the value you're getting when you buy from this dealership. And when you need service and want the best you can get, well, you just can't put a price tag on that.
I see what you mean about getting good service later on. Okay, I'll go along with it.
In this example, our salesperson made several logical moves that you may want to consider the next time you're confronted with a price shopper. First, keep control of the situation. Don't be intimidated by a prospect's insistence on a price or by his comparison shopping. Instead, agree with him. Show how you understand his point of view, that you think he's making a wise decision in shopping around. Second, relate price to value. Get his agreement on the fact that if an item has value to the customer, he shouldn't mind paying for that value. Third, ask to see any other offers in writing. As in this case, the salesman suspected that the vehicles weren't identical, and he was right. This lets the prospect know that you're not only looking out for yourself and the dealership, but for his welfare too. Fourth, compare the total deal, including the model and equipment, the trade difference, and any other factors that can influence price, such as finance and insurance, title, taxes, transport fees, and so on. Fifth, point out that part of the value your customer is getting is based on the dealership's service reputation to take care of him after the sale. This kind of after-the-sale benefit is invaluable to many customers. Now, there are other ways to handle the bargain hunter. You may have discovered your own successful methods, but I think you'll agree you can sell the bargain hunter without coming down in price or giving away something for nothing. The ostrich, who's been in the dark about conditions affecting the sticker prices in the cars in the showroom, and who has successfully, up to now, avoided facing the facts. The narrow viewer, who arrives in your showroom with his or her heart and mind set on a specific car, and who proceeds to spell out the features he wants you to provide on a vehicle in stock. The bargain hunter, who is a hardcore price shopper and who must be convinced of the value he is getting before he agrees to a price. It's safe to say that nearly every automotive salesperson has encountered these three types of prospects. Each one presents some unique obstacles that must be overcome on the way to successfully closing the deal. The Matchmaker Part 1 has demonstrated some proven techniques you can use to move these prospects to a signed order. In combination with your own style of selling and closing, the methods shown here should help you increase your closing ratio. In the next release in this series, the Matchmaker Part 2, we will be considering 3 additional types of potential buyers who present different closing problems. Together, these 2 units will provide you with proven strategies for matching the needs and wants of 6 kinds of hard-to-close prospects with the products you have to offer. They need you. You are the matchmaker.